Hello YouTube, Millennium X17 here. We're going to do it's an interesting video because it's this Millennium Soapbox. I got a lot on my mind right now and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to format it because the thoughts are just going every which way. And the important thing of note is that today, as of the recording of this video, it is Tuesday, April 16th. And it ties into the events in Boston on April 15th. So, what I'll preface this video is that it does, in fact, somewhat relates to gun control. Here's the thing. That's a very valid discussion that needs to happen. This video really isn't the place for that, no matter what side of the argument you're on. The reason why I bring that up, though, is because it relates to this video, is that back when it was first introduced in, I think it was the middle of January, the Democrats pretty much said it was a slam dunk. And right now, not so much. So, here's the thing. In her most recent shindig in San Francisco, California Senator Dianne Feinstein came out and made a statement, something to the effect of, if the video game industry doesn't do something about regulating the amount of firearms in video games, we're going to have to do something about that. Right. So, here's the thing. Dianne Feinstein is the author of the current assault weapons ban that was promised to be a slam dunk, and like I said, is not as much so right now. So, I don't know if it's out of spite that, okay, I can't, you can't regulate firearms in the real world that we all inhabit, so let's, try to regulate them in a fantasy world. Let's completely ignore the fact that the other senator from California tried to do the same thing, went to the Supreme Court and failed. Let's also forget the fact that California is broker than a joke, which isn't funny at all because I don't even know how that government's even operating anymore. So, I don't understand the psychological, thing around the fact that, okay, they're going after video games because back in December, the Newtown shooting, Adam Lanza, I guess his most recent game he played was Mass Effect 3 because, oh no, these evil video games, they're just the problem for everything. And it's just the point of this soapbox in general is just scapegoating in general. I don't understand why we have to come up with some sort of reason, that just, some people just, they have to rationalize horrific things, and this just, instead of figuring out what's actually the cause of these events, let's just find a quick solution, and because we gotta do something. Let's not, and I've heard this statement so many times about how, in this modern society, and, and with our level of critical thinking as it is right now, we gotta do something. No, it's always a quick thing, and, in video games, is a quick, easy thing to blame. And it's just the insanity behind being able to look at a video game and go, that's the cause. That's what it said something to, this individual that caused them to do something horrific and unthinkable. And oh my God, these video games, we've got to do something to regulate them. Just blarg, they got to do something. Here's the thing that I just really doesn't make much sense to me at all, is the fact that there are individuals on this planet that can very well be influenced by a video game. Here's the thing, though. As soon as you realize that, you then must realize that if they're capable of being influenced by a video game, then they're also totally capable of being influenced by books, TV, music, movies, advertisement, magazines, doesn't matter, you name it. If you're capable of having such an unstable mental structure that a video game can influence you to do something horrific, then anything else also can as well. And just to single out video games because you just don't understand them is just a scapegoat. It's all it is. And here's the thing, it leads me into the next thing, is that, they want to do, we got to do something about these gamers. And here's the thing, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, politicians, all of them don't have the mental capacity to understand the difference between mobile gaming, console gaming, PC gaming, casual gamer, hardcore gamer. You know, a couple weeks ago was the Call of Duty Championships. You know, professional gaming. They don't, and I guarantee you some of them even play like Angry Birds on their phone, and they wouldn't consider themselves a gamer. You know, it just, they don't have the capacity to wrap their head around this thing that is gaming. And the problem is it pertains to these disturbed individuals, is that gaming is so mainstream now that pretty much, if you look hard enough, everybody's a gamer. So, to label video games as the problem is just insane. I can't wrap my brain around it. It's a scapegoat, is all it is, and there's no reason for it. As it pertains to the thing that happened yesterday at the Boston Marathon, is that, two bombs exploded at the finish line, and they found other explosives throughout the day. It's a horrific event. And I just have this terrifying feeling in my gut that the individual and or individuals responsible for this heinous act, best case scenario, they probably played Mario sometime in the last 20 years. What I'm afraid of is that they've probably played some sort of modern game, albeit a Call of Duty or what the fuck, like a Dead Space, a Battlefield, or, oh my god, Grand Theft Auto. If they played any of their modern Grand Theft Auto games, 4, or, especially 4, or, San Andreas or Vice City, or any of the modern Grand Theft Auto games since Grand Theft Auto 3, oh my god, the politicians will just salivate over the opportunity to, ha, we told you, here it is, another evidence. These video games, they're the problem. It's just, I can't rationalize it in this modern era where, we claim that we have such higher thinking that we're just so quick to, we have to find a solution for something. We have to do something, instead of maybe taking a step back and maybe thinking that instead of doing something, maybe we should probably find the problem. And instead of, just coming to a quick knee-jerk solution and that games must be the problem, as it was in the 80s, oh, this metal music, it's the devil's incarnate. And back in, in the late 50s when Elvis got on and started shaking his hips, it's, we have to save the children. Just think of the children. We just have to do something, Instead of, kind of taking a step back, and instead of maybe finding the quick solution, maybe we can, I don't know, research and figure out what the actual problem is.